Tony Caboose's Barnaby. Do you know how many shows are coming to Broadway this fall? Let's talk about it. Hi friends, if you're new here, my name is Katherine Quinn. I am a 30-something living in New York City and working on Broadway. Last year, I worked on How to Dance in Ohio and Shucked. This year, I am on The Great Gatsby, The Roommate, and other shows TBD. And today, we're unpacking the whole slew of incredible shows heading our way for the 24-25 season, specifically this fall. Worth noting, at the time of this video, it is summer, it is August. Things get announced every single day, so things may have been updated since the time of this video, but this should give us a pretty great lay of the land for shows from August of 24 all the way to December, hopefully well into the spring, and I'll even do a little sneak peek looking into our 2025 shows. If you are coming to New York in the fall, or you just like to keep up with what shows are on Broadway at any given time, this is the video for you. We are quickly going to spin through literally every single new show that is coming. This is a quick and dirty overview. If you want an individual video, I will have many of them throughout the fall, closer to the time that each show opens, so make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. Okay, let's get into it. Are we ready? 5, 6, 7, 8, let's go. We are starting with Winifred the Woebegone. We are starting with Thoroughly Modern Millie. We are starting with, sorry, that was confusing. We're starting with Sutton Foster starring in Once Upon a Mattress. Hudson Theater, comfiest seats on Broadway. First preview July 31st, opening night August 12th. By the time this, I think that's gonna be the release date of this video maybe. Or sometime around then, so we'll know how it did. I predict mixed positive. Weirdly, Once Upon a Mattress is one of my favorite musicals of all time. It was one of the first musicals I fell head over heels in love with. I know every single lyric. I know all the harmonies to Normandy. It is just a beautiful, beautiful show. It is silly. It has great tunes. It's written by Mary Rodgers, who is the daughter of Richard Rodgers of Rodgers and Hammerstein. It has the famous song Shy.
I've always been shy.
And it's starring Sutton Foster and Michael Urie and Anna Gasteyer. It is a hugely, hugely fabulous cast. And this is a transfer from the City Center production. So we'll throw up a review of the City Center production here. And it's a limited run. This is running only for 18 weeks. It is running throughout the fall. So if you're a huge Sutton Foster fan, if you're really wanting your like classic musical theater kicks, then this is definitely the show for you. One other really fun thing to note about this production is the adaptation of the book is by Amy Sherman Palladino. Yes, of Gilmore Girls, yes, of Bunheads, yes, of Younger. So if you are a Sherman Palladino fan, this might be a great show for you to see if you're like one of your Gilmore Girls quippy banter kicks. If you miss seeing Sutton in Younger, I don't know, it's a teaming up of those two incredible women once again. Now that I'm saying that, why are we seeing that on social media? I don't think a millennial woman is running that social media because yeah. Gilmore Girls, come on. The Roommate is up next at the Booth Theater. First preview August 29th, opening night of September 12th, starring Mia Farrow and Patti LuPone, directed by Jack O'Brien, written by Jen Silverman in their Broadway debut, produced by Chris Harper, who pays Patti LuPone's salary. It's a 90-minute dark comedy featuring two legendary actresses who are friends in real life. How did they meet, you ask? I'm so glad. They met through Stephen Sondheim. Casual. Their buddy Steve. The play is fabulous. It's like a mix of a little bit of mystery, a ton of comedy. It's a bit of a character study of each of these women. It is like relationship dynamic between the two women. It is just a two-hander for 90 minutes. You will laugh. You will get to see legends. I do not know what isn't to like in that scenario, so I'm really excited about it. Go see The Roommate. Up next, we have another play at the Vivian Beaumont Theater. This is another star vehicle, McNeil. First preview is September 5th, 2024. Opening night, September 30th. Starring Robert Downey Jr. in his Broadway debut. This is also a limited run. It is directed by Bart Sher, who is a Tony Award-winning director. He directed My Fair Lady and King and I and a bunch of revered Lincoln Center production shows. This is a story that centers around AI. It's interesting. We actually have a couple of shows that are sort of centering AI, computers, technology. It's like, it feels very timely. It is a play written by Ayad Akhtar, and the little elevator pitches. It's a new play about a great writer, his estranged son, and his unhealthy fascination with artificial intelligence. Sounds like Tony Stark. Great, moving right along. The Hills of California is at the Broadhurst Theater. First preview September 11th, opening night of September 29th. This is a transfer from the UK. It was critically heralded. It is a Jez Butterworth play. It is directed by Sam Mendes. The elevator pitch really isn't telling us much more. Jess Butterworth's new play comes to Broadway following its acclaimed run in London's West End. That tells us nothing about nothing. 3 acts, 3 hours, worth noting. But listen, if we can sit through Stereophonic, we can sit through this. 3-act, 3-hour drama. It's gripping and beautifully structured time jump story that takes the audience between 2 eras. The sweltering summer of 1976 and 1958. Great reviews, London transfer, sister story, period piece. I'm here for it. Moving right along, we've got another play, Yellowface, at the Todd Haynes Theater. This is a roundabout theater, so this is one of our nonprofits on Broadway. First preview is September 13th. Opening night of October 1st, starring Daniel Dae Kim. We'll throw a photo up here just so everyone can enjoy. Writer is David Henry Kwong, directed by Lee Silverman, whose work is also currently on Broadway in Suffs. The elevator pitch is very brief here. It's about the complexities of race, which is very vague, but my understanding is it is a semi-autobiographical play from the playwright's point of view. The play was actually written, I believe, like 15, 20 years ago, but this is its Broadway debut, as well as the Broadway debut for Daniel Dae Kim, and I am really excited to see this. It is another limited run. For what it's worth, almost every single play is a limited run. I would say predominantly plays are limited runs. Predominantly musicals are open-ended. That said, in the post-shutdown years, I talk a lot about Broadway marketing. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're into the ins and outs of the business of Broadway. But increasingly post-pandemic, people want to see shows with stars. Broadway ticket prices are incredibly expensive. The average ticket price is about $168, but don't worry if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm clicking out of this video, I'm scrapping my plans, I'm not going to Broadway. There are so many affordable ways to see a Broadway show. I have an entire video about it right over here. You can get tickets for as little as $25. If you want to go crazy, you can spend $1,500 on a seat, but don't fret. You can absolutely see a show for $25, $40, $60. So all this goes to say, people want to see a sure thing. If you're spending that kind of money, you want to see a star that you love. Therefore, stars are being put into musicals more frequently, and that typically means shorter availability, which typically means a limited run. Sometimes they'll be replaced by another star. Sometimes that star will extend, but we are seeing more limited runs of musicals for that reason. The other thing that is starting to really happen is historically the developmental process for a Broadway show is like a 10-year process. It is long. Something wild that we're seeing right now is productions from the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., as well as productions from City Center in New York City, do sort of staged concert productions of classic shows. These are increasingly receiving very rapid transfers to Broadway theaters. So Spamalot transferred, Parade transferred, Once Upon a Mattress transferred. So we're really seeing this strong trend there. These shows are typically not built for long runs. They are built for a limited City Center run or Kennedy Center run, which isn't to say that they can't beef them up. Anyway, I'm digressing. If you want me to ramble about fun Broadway business stuff, again, hit that subscribe button. We're gonna get back to the Fall Broadway preview. Up next, we've got Our Town. Okay, this is a misleading thing. You think Our Town, it's a classic show, and you're like, wow, another Our Town. But fun fact, this is its first Broadway revival in 25 years. It is, in fact, its 6th Broadway production, but it is the first in 25 years, so I guess we're due. This is at the Ethel Barrymore Theater, first preview September 17th, opening night October 10th, and this is a packed cast. Are you ready? We have Jim Parsons, Zoe Deutsch, Katie Holmes, Billie Jean Jones, Ephraim Sykes, Richard Thomas, Michelle Wilson, Julie Halston, Donald Weber Jr. Written by Thornton Wilder, directed by Kenny Leon, who, come on, is Kenny Leon. This is bound to be obviously it's very starry, and it is bound to be a great production of a much beloved tale. If you performed in this show in high school, if you read this in high school, if you are an Our Town lover, or if you were wanting some classic Broadway in the form of a play, this might be the one for you. Coming up next, we have Left on 10th. I'm super curious about this. So this is starring Juliana Margulies and Peter Gallagher. It's James Earl Jones Theater, September 26th, first preview, opening night of October 23rd. This is written by Delia Ephron and directed by Susan Stroman. Delia Ephron is the sister of Nora Ephron and also a writer, producer, director in her own right. I have very fond feelings about Delia Ephron because I grew up listening to, like the autistic weirdo that I am, not Sleepless in Seattle, but the director and sister of the directors, this writer and director's commentary of Sleepless in Seattle. Like, I had their commentary memorized. Anyway, here we are. I have read the work of the Ephron sisters my entire life. I've consumed their content my entire life, and this is an autobiographical tale, and I just love their writing style. It feels very cozy to me. If you love you've got mail. If you saw, oh my gosh, there was a 2010s play, what was it? Love, Lost, and What I Wore. When Harry Met Sally, these are all Ephron things. I actually don't know that Delia worked on When Harry Met Sally, that was Nora, but it is a very cozy, similar vibe. And if that is your vibe, if you're looking for like a romantic comedy, especially if you happen to be middle-aged, especially if you like Juliana Margulies and Peter Gallagher, it's a great date night. Go see Left on 10. Up next, we have a very, very, very buzzy play. We have Romeo and Juliet. This is going to be at Circle on the Square Theater, September 26th, first preview, opening night, October 24th. Starring Rachel Zegler and Kit Connor. If you want tickets, get them now. These are young, hot stars. I imagine it's going to sell beautifully. Kit Connor of Heartstopper. He is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful actor who I just adore his work. And Rachel Zegler, who we know from Hunger Games and West Side Story in her Broadway debut. So this is a really, really exciting thing. It is directed by Sam Gold, not to be confused with the Weston Jamie Lloyd production. These starring Tom Holland. Two buzzy Romeo and Juliet starring hot young stars, totally separate entities, which is a good thing because the one in the West End opened to lukewarm reviews, so hopefully this one fares better. Moving right along to one of my most anticipated shows of the year, Sunset Boulevard. Okay, this is going to be at the St. James Theater. First preview, September 28th. Opening night, October 20th. I love this production. I'll pop my video of it, my feelings about it right up there. Saw it on the West End with much of the same principal cast. This is starring Nicole Scherzinger of the Pussycat Dolls. Yes, that babes has like musical theater grand dame voice. She gives an exquisite performance. I love the choreography, I love the staging, I love everything about this production. I don't even care about Sunset Boulevard, it's just this production. It is one of those things, I am getting chills thinking about it. I can't wait to see it again. In fact, I really need to buy my tickets. Tom Francis, who is opposite Nicole Scherzinger, is absolutely incredible. Max, played by David Thaxton, he's also incredible. Grace Hodgett-Young, also, I mean, it's just like phenomenal performances, phenomenal staging. Unlike, it is not Sunset Boulevard of yore. It is like hot new take, and it is so good. So good. I think it's going to do very well here. I really hope it does very well here. Coming up next is something completely different, maybe happy ending. So earlier I sort of teased that we're having a lot of shows about AI, technology, the future, etc. This falls into that category. This is a Korean musical that had an American production at Alliance Theater in Atlanta.
The thing you want is always out of reach.
It is a new science fiction musical about the developing relationship between two robots, played by Darren Criss and Helen J. Shen, both incredibly talented people. It is written by Will Aronson and Hugh Park, directed by Michael Arden. It's going to be at the Belasco Theater, one of the most beautiful theaters on Broadway. You do have to cross Times Square to get there, but it's worth it. I'm so curious about this. This has like a little cult following, this musical, and so I'm very curious to see if it like catches on. I would say that the vibes seem very much catered towards like 17 to 24-year-olds, but could have something beautiful. Like if you're looking for an intimate love story, if you're looking for a small, beautiful musical, I think this is going to fit the bill. Okay, up next we have A Wonderful World. It's a jukebox musical about Louis Armstrong, starring Tony Award winner James Monroe Iglehart. This is at Studio 54. First preview is October 16th. Opening night is November 11th. Written by R.N. Squire and directed by Christopher Renshaw. This has had 2 runs previously, one in Miami Beach, one in New Orleans. Mixed positive reviews, so hopefully they've done a little bit of work, but if you're a big Louis Armstrong fan, if you are looking for a fantastic, likely Tony-nominated performance by James Monroe Iglehart, then this is a great show for you to see. Up next, we have another one of my most anticipated shows for the year, Tammy Faye, which is a new musical that is also transferring from London. It is officially reopening the Palace Theater. In case you weren't aware, the Palace Theater recently underwent a major renovation and also lifted 30 feet into the air so that there could be retail space underneath the theater, because Manhattan and capitalism, why not, you know? This is the first post-reno Broadway musical that is going into the new Palace Theater. I went to see Ben Platt's concert. The space is gorgeous. Getting into the theater, we're gonna need a little bit of help. We have one very skinny escalator going up, one very skinny escalator going down, so it is what it is. But anyway, the theater itself is beautiful. So once you're up there, It's good. First preview is October 19th. Opening night is November 14th. It is starring Katie Braben and Christian Borle. It is written by Elton John. So we've got another Elton John musical, lyrics by Jake Shears, book by James Graham, directed by Rupert Gold. It is a musical about the life and career of televangelist Tammy Faye. The Olivier Award-nominated musical premiered at London's Almeida Theatre in fall of 2022. So this got rave reviews abroad. People really loved this show. And I'm so curious. I don't know a single thing about it other than that. I know that Katie Braben is evidently fantastic and definitely in the running for Best Actress of a Musical in the 24-25 Tony season, which is crazy that we're talking that way already, but you know. But evidently she's fantastic. I imagine that this has a bit of a sarcastic, sardonic point of view as a recovering product of Southern Baptists. I'm very excited to see this. I enjoy Tammy Faye like as a figure. So I'm super curious about this show. I think I'm especially curious because I sometimes feel like hyper-American things do better abroad than they do in America. Like we take ourselves too seriously sometimes. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm so curious. I hope this does very well. I feel like it's very much going to be my cup of tea, so I'm very much looking forward to this musical. Up next, we have another giant musical, Death Becomes Her. This is at the Lunt-Fontanne Theatre. First preview is October 23rd, opening night November 21st. This is starring Megan Hilty, Jennifer Samard, Christopher Sieber, and Michelle Williams, yes, of Destiny's Child. Written by Julia Madison and Noel Carey. Marco Panetti wrote the book. Directed by Christopher Gattelli. This is a musical based on Robert Zemeckis' 1992 dark comedy film about eternal youth. So this just had its out of town in Chicago. I was fortunate enough to see it. I had a blast. It is exactly what you think it is, and sometimes that is perfect. It is camp. It is very funny. It is clever. It has 3 brilliant Broadway stars in it. Michelle Williams also sings The House Down. It is a literally gay old time. If you just want to laugh, and who doesn't just want to laugh? This is a great show for you to see. It's opening in spooky season. I suspect this is going to do well. It's a great time. So if you're looking for a laugh, that is the ticket for you. Moving on to something not as funny, Cannibals. Swept Away is a musical opening at the Longacre Theatre. First preview October 29th, 2024. Opening night November 19th. This is an Avett Brothers musical, so if you are a fan of their music, obviously this is a great pick for you. Written by John Logan, directed by Michael Mayer. A new musical about the survivors of an 1888 shipwreck off the coast of New Bedford, Massachusetts. The show previously played Berkeley Rep and Washington, D.C.'s Arena Stage. I saw this at Arena Stage. The set is incredible. Performance is fantastic. John Gallagher Jr. is absolutely wonderful in it. There's not a woman in sight. Not one. Not one. Not one. I don't even know if there's one on the creative team. It is a densely male show. Now, if you're very into the Avett Brothers and if you're feeling dark and moody, go for it. And the music is great. It is not uplifting, and again, it is very male. So all of this is to say it is definitely for someone, and that someone is not me, but that doesn't mean that it's not for you. So again, if you're an Avett Brothers fan or a John Gallagher Jr. fan, or you love kick-ass sets and great music, it very well may be for you, okay? Moving on to Cult of Love. This is at the Hayes Theatre. First preview November 20th, opening night December 12th. This is directed by Trip Coleman, written by Leslie Headland. We love Leslie Headland. We will list some of her credits here. This is Leslie Headland's play about a tempestuous family Christmas making its Broadway debut. This has received nothing but raves. It is evidently absolutely hilarious, and it is about a Christmas family mess. Sign me up. All right. Another really exciting one, Gypsy. Yep. Gypsy is coming back. Mama's talking loud again at the Majestic Theater, which had Phantom of the Opera for my entire life. For 35 years, Phantom of the Opera has been at the Majestic. Phantom closed, and in comes Mama. First preview November 21st, opening night December 19th, starring Audra McDonald. Written by Julie Stein, Stephen Sondheim with lyrics, Arthur Lawrence book, and arguably the best written book of a musical ever. My favorite stage direction from this is her face alive with fight and plans and happiness. She roars into a violently joyous song about how great everything's going to be. And then it's Everything's Coming Up Roses. It's so good. 6-time Tony Award winner Audra McDonald returns to Broadway in the legendary role of Madame Rose in the timeless Broadway musical. I just couldn't be more excited. I'm so excited. Who doesn't want to see Audra as Madame Rose? If you don't, you're wrong. Moving right along is Eureka Day. This is a play at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater, another one of our nonprofit spaces. First preview November 25th, opening night December 16th. This is written by Jonathan Spector and directed by Anna Shapiro, starring Amber Gray, Jessica Hecht, Bill Irwin, Zoe Chow, and Thomas Middleditch. It is the Broadway premiere of Jonathan Spector's comedy about a vaccination debate in a private California elementary school. Yeah, that is just the end of August through December of this year. That's a lot. Okay, here are things to look forward to. Ready? I'm going to do an entire 2025 video, don't you fret. But things that we have to look forward to in the year 2025. Ready? English at the Todd Hames Theater. Redwood starring Idina Menzel in January. Boop, the Betty Boop musical at the Broadhurst, March-April. The Last 5 Years starring Adrienne Warren and Nick Jonas, March-April. Sondheim's Old Friends review with starring Bernadette Peters, Lea Salonga, It's Gonna Be Wild. That is also in March. The Broadway premiere of Floyd Collins at the Vivian Beaumont, directed by Tina Landau. Pirates of Penzance, which evidently has been radically rethunk, and I'm very curious and excited about that, starring Ramin Karimloo. That's in April. Then here are the ones that don't have a venue or date yet, but are confirmed for also 2025. Good Night and Good Luck, starring George Clooney. Othello, starring Denzel Washington and Jake Gyllenhaal. The Picture of Dorian Gray, starring Sarah Snook, our lovely Shiv from Succession. My Son's a Queer, But What Can You Do? Smash, and Sugar Daddy. Okay, well, my dog is saying it's time to feed him, and incidentally, we got through our list of every Broadway show that's coming that has been announced so far this fall, spring. What are you most looking forward to? What questions do you have? Can you even believe that this is a crazier season than the ones that we've had previously? Can you believe it? Because I can't. Friends, if you enjoyed this video, if you would generously like, comment, and/or subscribe, it genuinely makes a huge difference to me as a new YouTube creator. It lets the algorithm know what wonderful people to push these videos out to, people just like you. As always, I invite you to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Katherine Quinn. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you want to see this year, and I'll see you in the comments. Bye.